All right, hopefully this goes well. So, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Lunadia33. Today I'm gonna do a Q&A video for hitting 500 subscribers. Thank you so much. I hit it way earlier than I thought I was going to. My initial goal was to hit 500 subscribers by the end of 2021. And I actually hit it, I think the first week of February in 2021. So I was like, what should my next goal be? I have another goal. My next goal is to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of 2022. So if we get there sooner, thank you all so much. I appreciate it, but let's get into the questions. I am gonna be posting the questions on the screen here too for you guys to see, and also letting you know the name of who submitted the question. So I think we have 10 questions today. I'm not sure if I said that earlier, but let's get to it. I'm excited. Thank you guys for submitting your questions too. I appreciate it. All right, so the first one, well, actually, we have 5 from this person. So the first one comes, well, the first 5 comes from A Life Full of Simplicity. So we have 5 questions from them. The first question is, what is the hardest part about making your own deck? If some of you do not know, I am making my own tarot deck. I have, currently I think when this video goes up, I only have one video on my tarot deck journey right now, which is all of my aces. I'll link it somewhere up here for you guys to check it out, or you can look it up on its own playlist. I think the playlist is called My Tarot Deck Journey, so that's where I'm going to be posting all of my personal tarot deck updates and process and things like that. But enough blabbering. Then again, this is a blabbering video. So what is the hardest part about making your own deck? I feel like the hardest part for me was just to actually start. I hope that makes sense. Just the fact of pushing myself to even do a deck is what the hardest part was for me. Because one, there was a lot of like, well, should I? Well, I take so long to draw. I don't know if I should. Like my drawings, they could be the smallest sort of drawing, but it could take like freaking 2 days to do. I'm exaggerating, but still. But I think the hardest part for me was to actually start. Is what the hardest part was for me. Finishing, I don't think is an issue right now because I am really motivated and dedicated, and I just like completing goals in general, you know, keeping track of them and just seeing that I hit them. But what was hard for me again is just to push myself to even start the goal or the process. So that was my hardest part about making the deck, is just starting. The next question from A Life Full of Simplicity is, what is my favorite tarot card? My favorite, it's actually between 2, but I think the winner would be the Death card. The other one would have been the Star card. I actually plan on getting them tattooed here. Death card, Star card. I have enough space to put them. But my favorite tarot card is the Death card. The next question from A Life Full of Simplicity is, what is the total number of decks you have in your collection? Ugh, I should have counted before recording. Let me go count. 1 second. Just give me, I have 2 shelves here. 1 second. Jesus Christ, there's so much cards here. I need to get off my chair to count them. Ooh, that was a lot. Okay, so currently, I just counted all of them, right? That includes tarot decks, affirmation decks, oracle decks, fortune card decks, or Lenormand, I think they're called, and some that would fall under miscellaneous just because they're not really meant for tarot or tarot reading, but I use them, you know, in that way. So in total, right now, as I'm recording this video, I have 181 decks. That's a lot. Woo! I'm gonna hit 200 by the end of this year, guarantee it. So I have 181 decks right now, guys. Whew! All right, On to the next question. So this question is also from A Life Full of Simplicity. And they ask, how old were you when you started tarot? I think I was 16 when I purchased my first tarot deck. Pretty sure 16. Yeah, I was 16 when I purchased my first tarot deck. And I didn't know anything about tarot at that time, so I had no idea what the difference was between RWS or what Toth, I think is how you say it, or Marcel, or Pip decks. You know, I had no idea, like no idea. So the deck that I purchased was kind of like half Pippish and half non, which really confused me because like I don't get anything out of seeing like 4 swords, just 4 swords on a card. Like I don't see anything, I just see 4 swords. So I got that kind of deck. Big mistake to be the first deck to introduce me to tarot. But I was 16 when I got my first tarot deck, when I first started my tarot journey. All right, our next question, which is also the last one from A Life Full of Simplicity, is what is your favorite tarot and oracle deck? My favorite tarot deck, at least currently, that's in my number 1, is the Cosmic Visions Tarot. Right here, so pretty. It's an indie deck. By the way, I'm going to be doing an indie deck collection video soon, hopefully, which I have 44 indie decks right now. Favorite oracle deck? Let me check. All right, oracle deck was kind of hard to pick just because they have so many different themes, unlike tarot decks. Tarot decks, it's all, you know, it's, what do they call it? Not a fluid system, but it's a set system. So they're all pretty much the same. It's 78 cards. Whereas oracle decks, it's fluid. It's so many different types. So that one was a bit hard for me to choose, but right now it would be the Spirit Animal Oracle. So pretty, I love it. Okay, our next question comes from Gemini Princess Art Official. And they ask, what inspired you to start and create a tarot deck? I think what inspired me to start was, one, having the love, you know, about tarot, or loving tarot, and also just thinking like, how cool would it be to have my own artwork in its own like little tiny portfolio, but as a tarot deck, you know? And I think it's just something that a lot of us secretly also want to do as a goal. Like, I want to do my own tarot deck, you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool thinking that if somebody does purchase my deck, like they're going to have a little portfolio of my artwork with them, and they're going to use it to provide guidance to people, or people are going to see my artwork when they pull out my deck, you know, things like that. It's just a cool idea to think about. The next question comes from Mamacita Iris. I think I said that right today. Mamacita? Yeah, Mamacita Iris. And they ask, what's your current favorite deck? So that goes back to one of our earlier questions, and that would be the Cosmic Visions Tarot. This is my number 1 in my collection. Mamacita Iris also asks, in what year did you begin tarot? Ooh, crap, I'm bad at math. I was 16. I'm gonna give away my age, even though some of you guys already know it. Hold on, let me bust out a calculator. All right, so per the calculadora, I did the math, so hopefully it's right. So I was 16 when I started tarot, and that would have been in 2002. So in 2002 is when I began my tarot journey. Mamacita Iris also asked, which was your first tarot deck? Good question. Here, let me bring it out one second. Okay, so this was the first tarot deck that I ever got for myself when I had no idea what tarot was. I just saw it and I was like, I want it, it looks cool, I'm vibing with it. I don't know what you are, but I'm gonna get it. And it is the Gothic Tarot. This is the one that I told y'all earlier in the video, how it's like part Pippish. I have a flip through on it, which I'll link up here somewhere for you guys to watch so you can see what I mean, how it's part Pippish and part not Pippish. But this was my first tarot deck. I don't recommend it as your first one because it highly confused me. But this was the first tarot deck that I ever got. All right, now we're on our last question. So the last question comes from Roly Double, and they asked, how long have you been a witch for? I think that's the witch emoji. You guys will see it on the screen. How long have you been a witch for? All right, so with this question, it's a bit difficult to answer simply because a lot of people see a witch or a bruja differently. It can be whenever you started your journey. Like some people count when they started their journey as like, that's when I became a witch or a bruja. Other people see it as like, I was kind of born into this because since, you know, being little, things just attracted themselves to me or were drawn to me. So it depends. It really depends how you would see it and how others would see it. Me personally, I would say that I've been a bruja since birth because since I was little, I've always had abilities. I've always done things like people just wouldn't understand, if that makes sense. I mean, some of you guys know who are brujas here, where like some people just don't get it, you know what I mean? And they would just see you as weird or strange, which is what I always got growing up. But me personally, I would say I've always been a bruja. I've always been what I am, who I am since birth. So that's how I see it as, at least. Thank you all so much for submitting your questions. I really appreciate it. I do plan on doing another Q&A video when I hit my next goal, so fingers crossed that that's soon. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for listening to me blabbering about the Q&A questions here. It's fun. I like chatty videos. If you guys liked this video too, or if you like chatty videos, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!